All right, I have a few things today to catch you up on. First and foremost, we have been waiting to see what happens in Georgia with the subpoenas of Republican Senator Lindsey Graham and Trump's former lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. With Rudy Giuliani, his lawyer recently told a judge in New York he is not fit to travel for medical reasons. He can't fly down, to which the judge said there's other ways to get down to Atlanta. You could take an Uber. You could take a car. There's other ways to get down there. You could take a train. That is pending with Rudy Giuliani. However, yesterday, Lindsey Graham, or Wednesday rather, Lindsey Graham was supposed to show up at a courthouse in Fulton County, and he did not. 46 News from Atlanta reporting Senator Lindsey Graham a no-show at scheduled Fulton County court appearance. This is what we know right now. Lindsey Graham didn't show up. He was subpoenaed to testify in a special grand jury investigation looking at whether Trump and others broke laws when they tried to overturn the results of Joe Biden's win in Georgia in 2020. Lindsey's one of the people, Trump allies, that the district attorney Fani Willis wants to question. Graham said previously he would fight the subpoena. His attorneys say the probe is politically motivated, and Graham was indeed ordered to testify on August 2nd. The petition states that the state of Georgia will pay travel expenses and witness fees. Lindsey didn't show up. Now, this thing of political motivation, this is another one of their catch-alls that they're using, and hopefully it won't be allowed to stand. The idea, what they want us to hear when they say this is politically motivated, is there's no empirical or factual basis to even be doing this. When they go, these are politically motivated investigations, they want you to believe the person doing the investigation is so blinded by political bias that they are investigating or prosecuting or doing or subpoenaing on the basis of their political beliefs, not on the basis of their responsibility as law enforcement and prosecution. Of course, that's absurd, but more importantly, these are alleged political crimes. If you try to overturn an election and have the guy who lost given the electoral votes, that is politically motivated. Even though Biden won, you're a Republican and Trump's a Republican and you want Trump to be president. It's fundamentally political. And so it really loses its value to say that the investigation is political. Well, if you mean that it's not based on fact, we can talk about that. But writing it off as politically in the political sphere has no meaning whatsoever when these are politicians trying to achieve political wins through subterfuge and potentially criminality, and that's what's being investigated. They were politically motivated actions that they took. And this is the same Republican projection that we've been following for a long time. I did something bad that was politically motivated, and then when you investigate, I'll say you were doing this based on political motivation. It's sort of like Democrats are going to commit fraud and try to take an election that the voters don't really want them to win. Well, actually, that's what you're doing. Joe Biden won, and you were trying to take an election that the voters didn't actually want you to win. And I would just write it off as pitiable, except this stuff is really effective. This stuff is effective. I mean, in the aftermath of the 2020 election, nearly 60% of Republicans fell for it, and they believed actually Donald Trump won. We've been talking about how effective these silly things are in the context of Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker is speaking of Georgia, the Senate Republican nominee in Georgia facing off against the incumbent Senator Raphael Warnock. And Herschel Walker doesn't want to debate. And I understand why, because Herschel Walker can't speak. And so Herschel Walker is now starting to say, Warnock won't debate me. And it's so predictable, and it's so pathetic, and it's so absurd, but it works because the Trumpists hear Warnock's the one who won't debate. And they will believe it, and they will repeat it, and they won't allow it to dissuade them from voting for a guy, Herschel Walker, in November, who quite literally cannot explain anything. He cannot explain his view on anything. He can't speak. So sadly, it's working for the right to say these are politically motivated investigations, even if it means absolutely nothing. The David Pakman Show's longest running sponsor is Blinkist, the app that takes thousands of nonfiction books, boils each of them down into an explainer you can read or listen to in 15 minutes. Blinkist also condenses episodes of popular podcasts into 15-minute explainers. I've been using Blinkist for years to supplement the books I read. I love reading. I read all the time, but there's even more books I don't have time to read. And you can often find those nonfiction books on Blinkist and consume the entire thing in 15 minutes. My favorite new feature on the app is Blinkist Connect, which lets you share your Blinkist premium account with someone else. You basically get 2 accounts for the price of one, and then you can also share Blinkist books and podcasts between users. I have a joint Blinkist premium account with my girlfriend. Blinkist Connect lets us sync together what books and podcasts we're listening to on Blinkist, sparks many interesting discussions. We just listened to Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power, the new version. Robert Greene, super interesting writer. Find his books fascinating. You can try Blinkist free for 7 days and get 25% off a premium subscription at Blinkist.com/David Pakman. The link is down below.